DSW, Designer Shoe Warehouse, is the one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. With sneakers, boots, and everything in between for every style, mood, and occasion, you'll definitely find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. DSW has what you need, but more importantly, they have what you didn't even know you wanted. You never know what you'll find at DSW. Find the shoes that get you at prices that get your budget at DSW stores or DSW.com.
Hey, Flustercluckers, we're doing a recast of the Anxiety Disruptor series. Robin and I started this 7-episode series in June of 2022. Today, we're going to recast episode 2. Now, there are 7 in total, so it's up to you to keep going. It provides the foundation of the clinical approach that I use in my office and that we talk about on Flusterclux. So, happy holidays and enjoy. We'll see you in 2026. A lot of what kids learn, a lot of what adults learn about worry, a lot of what they pick up, a lot of what they wish for is that it's going to go away. They're doing things and they're taught things that are about elimination. And when we talked about expecting to worry as the first puzzle piece, this is the pattern we want to interrupt, that you're supposed to do things to get rid of it. So when we externalize it, we're saying 2 things at once. We're saying both, this is a part of you. It's not going anywhere. We all have a worry part. And you can respond and react to it in a different way.
Welcome to Season 8 of Flusterclux with Lynn Lyons, where we talk about managing worry, anxiety, and all the other emotions too.
I'm Lynn Lyons. I'm an anxiety expert, author, speaker, and mom. I've been a therapist for 35 years, and I'm still in the trenches with families, helping them navigate daily struggles and big problems. Parenting can be a flusterclux, but we tackle the serious stuff without being too serious.
I'm Robin. I'm Lynn's sister-in-law and co-host, and I'm here to ask your questions.
And I'm Ed, the producer of Flusterclux.
And my brother.
And my husband.
Anxiety is a family problem with a family solution.
Tell us about the second puzzle piece that we're going to talk about today.
Okay, so the second puzzle piece is one you've heard me talk about many, many times. This is the externalizing worry. So we want to pull it out. We want to recognize the patterns of worry. So when you're externalizing it, this is very helpful for your kids and it's helpful for you because it creates a bit of distance, of course, which is a really helpful thing. And it allows you to see the patterns. When you're externalizing it, it allows you to recognize 2 really important patterns, 2 really important things that keep us stuck. And that is the pattern of reassurance seeking and providing external reassurance, and also the pattern of getting caught up in the content of it, which is what you tend to reassure about.
I want to stop you right there, just as I'm hearing what you say, just to make sure that listeners understand the 2 steps that you're talking about of avoiding reassurance and avoiding getting caught in the content of what your child's worrying about. Mm-hmm. Those are guides for you. It's to prevent you from reassuring your child.
Right.
If your child is freaking out about spiders or bugs, don't go down the path of addressing and solving problems about spiders or bugs.
Right. Whenever we externalize the worry, so this is a tool for your child, but it's also a tool for you because it gives you a different way to talk about worry rather than talking about bugs or spiders or whatever. Very concretely, we're going to pull the worry out. And if you could see me now, I make that movement where I'm pulling it out. Oftentimes when I'm working with kids, I make a farty noise. I say, I'm going to go in and get your worry. And I go, and I...
At what age do you stop doing the fart noise?
I never stop doing the fart noise. The fart noise, I feel like it just transcends all age groups.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But use your own judgment. You know, your 22-year-old might not appreciate that. So you're going to pull it out. And now we're going to give it a name. And the mistake that people make when I'm talking about externalizing worry is they think that I'm pulling out the content. They think that I'm like, all right, so if you're afraid of frogs, we're going to pull out frogs. If you're afraid of spiders, we're going to pull out spiders. No. We're creating a character. We're creating a personification of worry. Remember, we talked about expecting worry to show up. What we want to recognize with worry is that it does the same thing over and over again.
And that it's just a part of you.
It's just a part of you. It's not all of you. And so when we're pulling it out, And when we're talking about it in that third person, when we're giving it a name, it allows you and your child to step back from it and really notice what it's doing. Whenever you become an observer of your own patterns, whenever you help your child become an observer of their own patterns, then you're making headway because this thing hijacks you. And then people start to talk about it as, oh, well, she's my anxious child, or she's my worrier, or, oh, I'm such a worrier. Oh, my family is just full of worriers. And it becomes this global way of viewing your responses.
Over the course of the last few years, and we've talked about this in episodes, it's come up in the context of different types of families, different ages of people involved. So obviously, when you are dealing with a very worried 6-year-old, there's a lot of playing into this is a character that isn't you, and the character has a different name, and this is how it helps them understand this is a worry part. But you've also talked about when you have like that tween teen age group where they're a little resistant to this. The funny thing is adults get more open to it the same as a kid, but there's that period when they resist and they're like, this is so stupid.
Yeah. And they're more than a little resistant sometimes. They're downright appalled. You know, we were joking saying the farty noise, right? So the real answer to that is I'm going to stop the farty noise at about age 10. Tweeners and some teens are very sensitive to being babied. They don't want to be treated like a baby. They don't want to be treated as if they're younger. And what the pushback you'll get from tweens and teens is, this is stupid, this is babyish. So we just have to bump up the language. So for a 6-year-old, I might say, okay, you know what? You have a part of you called your worry part. We all have a worry part. So let's pull it out. I talk about with little kids, I talk about the worry part support meetings that they have. So all the worry parts get together. They meet in the bottom of the basement of a church. They have lemonade and brownies. And the worry parts all get together and they figure out how they're going to boss around their kids and their families. We pull it out and we name the worry part James. And then I'll be like, oh, James, your worry part's going to go to the meeting on Wednesday night. And James is going to walk in and be like, oh, right. Lynn Lyons talked about worry parts and now they're on to me. They figured me out. And all the other worry parts are going to be like, oh, no, James, here, have some extra lemonade. So we want to play this game with it that they are recognizing that this child now is in on the secret. Like this child knows how this thing works. Like we're going behind the scenes. We are going to demystify this thing. That works great for younger kids. And then when we get into that older age group, we want to say, look, it is really important for you to learn about your operating system, to learn how you operate. You have a lot of different parts of you. You have a silly part. You have a competitive part. You know, you've got that part of you that's really great at making people laugh. You also have a worry part. Let's pull it out. Let's have a look at it because I want you to be able to recognize when this part of you is taking over you, taking over your family. Very helpful with older kids to talk about other worry parts in the family, to look at mom's worry part or dad's worry part or grandma's worry part so that they begin to see I'm using this strategy, this externalization, just as a way to allow them to observe a part of themselves that they can shift.
So if you have a tween or a teen that you're trying to get them on board with this as a tool, obviously the first thing, if they're resistant, is model it. Start talking about your own worry part and what it's doing and make that normal. Encourage everyone in the family who's willing to talk about it or name it so that the one who's actually who needs it the most finally kind of says, okay, I get it.
Right. You know, say you bring this up to your 12-year-old and they're like, oh, that is so stupid. I am not doing that. And you go, all right, look, here's the deal. I know it's a little stupid. I know it's a little silly, but we've been stuck in this rut. And the way that we can change this up is that we have to approach this a little differently. So go with me here. I'm going to pull my worry out. You know I have worry. You complain all the time about how I'm too overprotective, about how I talk to you all the time about bad things. Okay, I'm hearing you about that. I'm going to pull out my worry part. I'm going to name it Ruth. And when you hear me worrying, I want you to say, okay, so now Ruth is in charge. I want you to call out my worry part. Because the more as a family that we begin to recognize how worry takes over, the better off we're going to be. So humor me here, because right now, I think you and I would both agree, your worry, my worry, dad's worry, whoever it is driving us crazy. We need to shift out of this. We're going to play around with this a little bit. Bear with me here, because we need to find another way out of this. What we've been doing hasn't been working. We're shifting out of this. You sort of acknowledge that it's a little silly. You acknowledge that I get it. You give them that. And then you say, let's play around with this and see what we can do with it. That tends to diffuse it a little bit, for sure. Yeah.
I have another question after this break.
If you're like me, the beginning of the new year, you start thinking about your financial goals. What do you want to save for? Are you going to take that trip? Do you want to make sure that you're contributing completely to your retirement accounts? There are a lot of things to think about. Managing your money doesn't have to be a struggle this year. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool designed to make your life easier. It brings your entire financial life, budgeting, accounts and investments, net worth, and future planning together in one dashboard on your laptop or phone. Start your new year on the right foot financially and get 50% off your Monarch subscription with the code FLUSTER. Monarch makes it easy for you to start fresh after the chaos of the holidays, right? We're all sort of looking for that reboot to just sort of stop, get our feet under us, and figure out what's important to spend our money on, how to save. They have automated weekly money recaps so that you can track your progress towards future financial goals. It's easier than ever. This new year, achieve your financial goals for good. Monarch is the all-in-one tool that makes proactive money management simple all year long. Use code FLUSTER at monarch.com for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code FLUSTER. You don't have to convince me that great sheets make a difference. I love high quality sheets. I remember when I was younger, I went to a friend's house. He had terrible sheets. It truly makes a difference in how you sleep, how it feels to get into bed. Boll and Branch sheets make a difference. It's just a fact. When I first got my Boll and Branch sheets, I knew what I was in for. I believed the hype because they're made with such quality, and man, they live up to it. They are made from the finest 100% organic cotton with a difference in craftsmanship that you can immediately feel. They are buttery soft, and they're made to get softer with every wash. If you want to feel quality immediately, get some Boll and Branch sheets. It will make a difference in the way you sleep. Trust me, they are so much better than average, old, low-quality bedding. Discover a softness beyond your wildest dreams with Boll and Branch. Get 15% off your first set of sheets plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com/Flusterclux with code Flusterclux. That's Boll and Branch, bollandbranch.com/Flusterclux. Code Flusterclux to unlock 15% off. Exclusions apply. Hey, it's the new year. Time for a wardrobe refresh? Quince has you covered with luxe essentials that feel effortless and look polished. They're perfect for layering, mixing, building a wardrobe that lasts. Their versatile styles make it easy to reach for them day after day, and that's what I've been doing. This past month, I had a ton of travel. I had a lot of presentations. I was packing, unpacking, needed to get dressed and undressed, looking good, looking polished, and I want items in my wardrobe that are easy, that I can put them on day after day. I can wash them, I can iron them, and I look polished, I look professional, and the quality is just evident. If you are looking for great pieces that are not over the top expensive, if you are looking to get the most wear out of your wardrobe, go with Quince. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Don't wait. Go to quince.com/fluster for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/fluster to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/fluster.
Okay, so we're back talking about externalizing worry, which is definitely something that everyone who's read your book is a takeaway point that they got. One of the things I would think for teens and even adults reading the book about their own worry is to understand what you accomplish as you effectively have an externalizing pattern. Tell me about that.
The reason we want to do this is because a lot of what kids learn, a lot of what adults learn about worry, a lot of what they pick up, a lot of what they wish for is that it's going to go away. They're doing things and they're taught things that are about elimination. And when we talked about expecting to worry as the first puzzle piece, this is the pattern we want to interrupt, that you're supposed to do things to get rid of it. So when we externalize it, we're saying two things at once. We're saying both, this is a part of you. It's not going anywhere. We all have a worry part, and you can respond and react to it in a different way. You can begin to recognize that the worry says the same thing over and over again. So what it helps us do is it helps us get out of the content of what you're worrying about and instead gets us into process. If you name your worry Sylvia, Sylvia has a few stock responses that she brings up. Sylvia likes to create emergencies. Sylvia likes to tell you can't handle something. And Sylvia absolutely wants to make it about the content. And what we're doing is we're shifting out of focusing on spiders or frogs or vomit or mistakes or whatever, and we're focusing on your response to worry when it shows up. So Sylvia shows up and you say, oh, hello, Sylvia. I want you to be bored with it. I want you to say, all right, so we know Sylvia's going to show up. Sylvia has a few responses. I say to kids, if Sylvia were wearing a t-shirt, what would be on that t-shirt? And that way, the response to it is we're not going to take it so seriously. We're not going to act like Sylvia has breaking information that we need to hear. We're creating that distance, and it gives families a different way of talking about worry in process rather than content.
Well, as a catastrophizer, that's like my biggest worry pattern over the course of doing this podcast with you. It's been so interesting because I absolutely see my response to it. I am amazing of thinking of the worst things that can happen. So something happens with the family, and then I start worrying about a specific element of one of my kids. And I can take that story and just run with it. But because of this, because of acknowledging that I'm going to do it, because I know this pattern, as it's playing out, I recognize that's what I'm doing.
Right.
I don't even fight it. Like I'll still see the end of it, but I'm seeing the end of it like I have subtitles in my own brain movie that says, here's your catastrophizing. And I might even laugh at myself at like how crazy I can take a worst case scenario, for example.
Right.
But it means that then when I'm in it, okay, worry, go off with your pattern. I don't actually fully react to it.
Right.
It's been cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. And that's what we want to do is we want to recognize the pattern. So people are good at recognizing it in other people. Say you have a relative that whenever you go out to a restaurant, they complain about the food. You begin to recognize, okay, look, it doesn't matter what restaurant we go to. It doesn't matter what she orders. It doesn't matter what's on the menu. Her pattern, her process is that she's going to complain that the food isn't good. So then you begin to recognize the pattern. And so then you stop playing whack-a-mole. You stop saying, well, let's try this restaurant. Well, if you don't like the meatloaf, remember you ordered the meatloaf at the last restaurant we were at and you didn't like it. So maybe you should order the pork chops or blah, 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 blah. You get out of these debates. The goal is to get out of the minuscule debates that you get into about all the different topics of the worry. So if you were catastrophizing about something and you were saying to me, oh, I'm so worried about this happening or this happening, instead of me saying, well, let's think about this situation and maybe blah, 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 or why don't you try this? I would say, oh, well, that sounds like your catastrophizing part, Robin.
Right.
There's Bonnie Doom, as we call it in my family. So you begin to recognize the pattern. The other thing it gets you out of is offering content-based reassurance. So what happens is that say somebody is worried about spiders, a lot of times what we do as parents is, okay, so let's find out about this spider. Let's do some research about this spider. You know what? There aren't any spiders around here that will bite you and that will kill you. And interesting fact, daddy long legs, their mouth is so small that they can't even bite a human being. And so we start giving all of these facts, all of this information. You start putting in accommodations. Well, we're going to put in a fancy alarm system, or we're going to make sure that we do this or do that. We're going to make sure that before we go to a restaurant, we look at the menu and we know exactly what's going to happen. If we get out of the content and we start talking about what worry does, worry that we've named, worry that we've externalized, it gets you out of the content and it gets you out of that reassurance game. Because now we have something very predictable and rather generalized that we're talking about. This is how worry works. Worry always says some version of blah, 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 and you can't handle it. Oh, there's your worry. So you've got a child who's afraid to get on the school bus. And instead of figuring out where they should sit on the school bus and who should they sit next to on the school bus and whether or not the school bus driver is mean and whether or not blah, 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 blah. Instead of doing all of that stuff that worry wants you to do, you say, oh, here comes Joe again. This is what worry says. Worry thinks you can't handle it. And we want to have different responses to worry. So that's really one of the key things, is that we want to have a generic or a standard response to worry when it shows up, rather than, well, here's our response to when she's afraid of spiders. Here's our response to when she's afraid of the school bus. Here's our response to when she's afraid of sleeping alone. Here's our response to when the babysitter comes. All these different responses. That's external-based reassurance. Because remember, anxiety, worry wants certainty and comfort. And what we're going to do instead is say, here comes worry. Oh, hello, worry. We know what you're up to. This is what you do. You have to know everything. And worry, you're going to say what you're going to say. You're going to do what you're going to do. We are not putting you in charge. We're going to put you outside here. We're going to have a look at you. We're not going to get rid of you. We're not going to send you to the moon. We're not going to bury you in the backyard. We're not going to use magic to get rid of you. We're going to allow you to show up. We're going to observe you, and we're not going to play your game. That's what this allows you to do.
I think getting this step integrated into the family response is so important. We've definitely heard about the teen or tween who eye rolls at, oh my God, this is so stupid. Of course, their anxiety is like, don't do it. Don't do it. They're grinding their heels in. They know stuff is about to hit the fan.
Right.
But what if you also hear the kids who say, that's not my worry, that's me, and I'm really upset about this. They think you're denying their feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they think you're dismissing them. So that comes up a lot. That's probably the biggest question that I get when people say, so they're all excited, they're going to put this into place, they're going to externalize the worry, and then their kid says, that's not my worry. Like, shut up, I don't want to hear that anymore. You're not listening to me. I get that a lot.
Or my favorite line I heard from one of our listeners, you're Lynn Lyonsing me.
Oh, yeah, I know. I have kids that the parents come alone to the sessions and then they go home and the parents will start to say something and the kid will be like, you went to go see Lynn again. They're so mad. That's okay. I mean, that's going to happen. Don't be thrown by that. A lot of times when kids say that, then parents feel like, oh, this isn't working or I'm on the wrong track. Expect that to happen. Expect there to be some resistance. And here's your response to that. I know this is really hard. And I know this is a part of you. It's just a part of you that is too big and too controlling. So when that part of you shows up, your feelings are real. The symptoms that you might be feeling are absolutely real. This is real. Your worry part is real. And it's really bossy and it's really tricky. And so I get it that you're angry about this. Listen, I also know that your worry part does not like to be challenged, because the whole goal of worry is to get you and me to do its bidding.
Which means stay comfortable.
Stay comfortable, stay certain, no risk, no discomfort. If you say to your child, I totally get that this is frustrating for you. One of the things I do in my sessions with families when I'm introducing this is I will say in front of the child to the parents, look, You guys might think that this is kind of fun for a few days. It's novel. It's interesting. I predict in day 3, your child is going to say, I am not doing this. That Lynn Lyons doesn't know what she's talking about. This is the stupidest thing I ever heard. I predict that that will happen. And in that moment, please remember this moment, because it's okay that that happens. This is not a one and done. This is going to take practice. Stay steady, stay consistent, and say, I get it. The worry is pushing back. I get it. Your worry wants you to be on team worry. It wants me to be on team worry. And the reason we're doing this is so that we don't let your worry boss you around and boss the family around. And you're going to have to repeat that. That's one of the things, too, that I want families to know, is that this is about repetition. This is about practice. This isn't just doing it once and then having everybody say, yay, it worked. This is about managing the struggles of it. It's about adjusting and adapting. Takes a while to get the hang of it, but don't be discouraged if your kid pushes back, if your child gets upset. That's a way that your child is trying to pull you back into the worry pattern. People will say to me, well, how long should I do this? If my child is upset with this, how long should I do this before we go back to the old way?
Forever.
Yeah, forever. Yeah. So think about that, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back.
So let's review, because you've talked about these 2 puzzle pieces. For people who don't know, this is sort of one of the central approaches in your practice, and it's also outlined in your last book, Anxious Kids, Anxious Parents, that you wrote with Reed Wilson. So the first episode for this series was about expecting to worry. And then this one is about externalizing the worry.
Yeah.
You say that these 7 steps build upon each other. So now, if this is something like, if you're checking each of these puzzle pieces off the list, then the first one is like not trying to deny worry. Worry is there, and you're going to worry, and I'm going to worry.
Right.
Totally normal to worry. Now we're trying to separate the worry part of us, learning how to process our worry a little separately from ourselves, using our cerebral cortex instead of our amygdala.
Right. The first step is we're going to expect to worry. That's really all about normalizing it, about saying this is a normal thing that happens. It's okay. So I want people to be more aware of the worry patterns and how it shows up. And then the second step is we're really starting the process of creating our responses to it. And then the next step that we're going to talk about is really how we go at it a little bit more confrontationally, almost, how we're going to step in. After you expect it and after you externalize it, now we're going to get to the process of retraining that amygdala and laying down some new pathways, which is super cool. Yeah.
Did you ever have a little kid say, I've retrained my amygdala?
Yes, I have them say that, and it's very cute. There was one little girl who called it her Amy G. Dalla, because that's the way it looks like when it's so she would like, Amy G. Dalla. The thing I want to say too is, remember, your worry part is not your amygdala. That's just a little differentiation. Sometimes people say, oh, I'm going to pull out my amygdala. No, the amygdala is just the smoke detector. The amygdala is just the alarm system that gets fired off. The worry is what activates the amygdala. So that's an important differentiation, which we'll talk about more as we go along. Yeah.
Okay, so stay tuned for that third essential puzzle piece.
The next puzzle piece, the one we're going to talk about in our next episode, is really the meat of the sandwich.
Ooh.
Yes. I was out hiking this weekend, and I was just really working on noticing the beauty that was around me as I'm at the top of this mountain and just looking around. I got really hungry, and then I was just really craving. I was thinking about how we were going to stop at this little store and I was going to get some smart food. And then when I got the smart food and I was eating the smart food, it was like complete pleasure. And I was just like, I am eating smart food.
Something came out that rocks smart food. Trader Joe's has these truffle flavored high-end Cheetos.
Oh.
And I know that sounds very weird, but if you've had them, it's like a very light Cheeto, like a pale yellow.
Yeah.
not a Cheeto orange yellow.
Yeah.
And they are a subtle cheese because actually it's like a nutritional yeast as opposed to actual cheese.
Yeah.
But then they're truffle oiled.
Oh, boy. Okay, so when I go into the little store up in northern New Hampshire, if I walk in and say, hey, I was just wondering if you have truffle-flavored nutritional yeast Cheetos, they're going to be like, what?
I'm going to bring some to you from Boston.
All right. Thanks for listening. And if you found this podcast helpful, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps other people find this information.
And if you'd like to dig deeper on any of these topics, we have specialized playlists on our Spotify profile, and the link is in the show notes. Topics like teens, depression, and OCD. Bye, Lynn.
Bye, Robin.
This podcast is supported by MIDI Health. Are you in midlife, feeling dismissed, unheard, or just plain tired of the old healthcare system? You're not alone. In fact, even today, 75% of women seeking care for menopause and perimenopause issues are left entirely untreated. But it's time for a change. It's time for MIDI. MIDI's not just a healthcare provider. It's a women's telehealth clinic founded and supported by world-class leaders in women's health. Their clinicians provide one-on-one, face-to-face consultations where they truly listen to your unique needs. They offer a full range of holistic, data-driven solutions that isn't one-size-fits-all care. This is care uniquely tailored for you. At MIDI, you will find that their mission is clear: to help all women thrive in midlife, giving them access to the healthcare they deserve. Because they believe midlife isn't the middle at all. It is the beginning of your second act. Ready to feel your best and write your second act script? Visit joinmidi.com today to book your personalized, insurance-covered virtual visit. That's joinmidi.com. MIDI, the care women deserve.